Hi guys, this is what I'm working on at the moment. I'll just give you a quick show of what I've been doing lately. It's a little indie game that I'm working on using the Godot game engine. This is the Godot game engine. I'm trying to put it together very quickly. I've been working on it for a couple of weeks, and it's a little submarine game. So I'll start it up and just give you a little feature tour. Okay. So we're in a submarine, and I'm just backing up now. Oh dear. Something's happened already. There was an underwater mine. At the moment it doesn't actually do anything. It'll hit me, and I'll just do rear view. Let's see. It'll try and hit me. It's actually easier for it to catch you if you're moving. It's a bit difficult if you're stationary. But so that's just going to follow me and follow me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly into our base. Now you can see inside the base there's a controller thing in the middle, and if I just fly into this protective dome, this thing, don't worry, it all seems a bit confusing at the moment. It'll there we go, it gets collected. There's no animation at the moment when something gets collected, and I got 100 credits for that. So yeah, we've got this little base, and at the moment we've only got 3 modules. So these are the it's post-apocalyptic, and we're surviving under the water because we've got these modules. That's a living module, so a little house. These are just quick sort of prototype kit bashes I made in Asset Forge. And then we've got that's an oxygen module. So you may see, in fact I can show you with the mouse, look, we got 1 oxygen, 0 food and 1 accommodation, 400 credits. So let's go get another module. Now there's other submarines flying around. In fact, you can see this one. Again, these are the sort of refinements I'll make next month. I'm just adding features at the moment. But you can see this is a kit bash little submarine thing. And it's got, when it's in tow mode like it is at the moment, you see it's towing this this module here. That's an oxygen module, by the way. It's got a cone at the back showing you that, but it doesn't look very good, and it points in the wrong direction. I need to spend 10 minutes just rotating it to get it pointing at its target, and then I'll maybe make it so the cone stretches all the way to the target. But just for now, it just shows you that the sub's in tow mode, and once we can keep watching it. Once it gets into the base, there's no real animation for it at the moment. But once it's pulled in, it gets added to the base. So I've got 10 of those submarines moving around. To be honest, they're largely there to just keep testing the game. You can see they've started to pick up these modules on their radars and then tow them back to the base. When he tows it back, he heads out to the next target. And there's down here, there's a little message thing. For some reason, it's got 2 scroll bars at the moment. I think I need to disable the scroll bar in this container. But you can actually scroll up and down with a mouse. I'm controlling it with the keyboard for now. But every day, hopefully, I've been able to add something to the game. It's starting to get darker now, because it's time 4. You see, you've got to understand. Time 4 it gets dark. But so For example, you've got a little compass up there. You've got a map that's very old school in the way it's drawn. But let's try and get, so let's say, I mean, I've only got 3 modules at the moment, oxygen, food and accommodation, and I need about a dozen. But let's just pick one of these up. You can probably tell part of the inspiration for this game is the space game Elite, which is on 8 and 16-bit machines. So you've even got this star field effect, but arguably they're bubbles. So it actually makes more sense than the star fields you see in bases. Can you see the edge of the terrain there? Yeah, it shouldn't pop up like that, but it is an infinite terrain from today onwards, because I've just made it when you approach the edge, it just adds another bit of terrain. I don't want to get inside that green ring. Those rings are on the hood rather than out in the real world. I'll just show you a little problem. I'll use a cheat. I'll use some super thrust. Here we go. Turbo boost. Just to get there. Can you see there's a seam between the two terrain chunks? Now you might think, well, it's not lining up. It's actually lining up perfectly because it's using what you call a simplex terrain, an algorithmic terrain. But it's just the way graphics cards, because these are objects to the rendered with the graphics card, and it is. I don't know if I've tested this today. Oh yeah, there we go. You see, I can actually collide with it, so it's a proper terrain. But the graphics card renders them in a certain way, so it starts the shading again from scratch on every 128 by 128 meter block. But anyway, let's try and get a module for ourselves. I'll tell you what, before we tow a module back, let's go straight up. You can see it's time 6 out of 12. I'll come up with some waffle to explain why the days are so short, but it does add, I've just added that today, a day and night cycle. And you can see it's affecting the shading of the ground. It's getting quite dark now, so it's just as well we've got these hints on the hood to show us there's a submarine in trouble there. That's why it's got a blue circle. It needs at the moment it doesn't change colour. We need the blue circle in the hood. We need it to change colour once we're in range, because we're going to tow it using the tractor beam. But we should be able to see. Oh yeah, you can see the but I've only just added nighttime to the game. I added that today along with the infinite terrain. I was using a terrain engine already, but it wasn't infinite like this one is. Okay, so I don't think, I might add some limits as to how far back you can go, because I don't think most people would want to go straight up in a submarine. So let's just use the up control. Here we go. Here we go. Now, these things are difficult to tow because they weigh 1,000 kilograms, same as my submarine. So let's just line ourselves up. I found the best way to do this is to try and work out a straight line. There's the rear view of it. As you can see, it's quite light underwater. And I'll make up some story about why we're surviving underwater. See, I like post-apocalyptic scenarios. It might make more sense if I said we were on a little moon, we're on Phobos or something. But I like everything post-apocalyptic. Okay, see another sub on a tow there. Actually, let's be careful because we don't want to crash into it while it's towing. But right, so get everything lined up, get it in the rear view. I'm not close enough to tow. No, got to get a bit closer. Unless there's a bug of some kind. It's not letting me tow it. There we go. And there's just a placeholder graphic. It needs some kind of lasery effect or something. Whoa. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's fighting me. That thing is just as heavy as the vehicle that's towing it. my submarine, and it's going to start swinging in a minute. I don't plan to make it much easier to control, but we'll take it down to the base to get it repaired. You see, it hit an underwater mine, and it sent me a message, and then the hood of the submarine just displays a blue circle around it. So, oh, we're beating that other sub. My sub's slightly more powerful than the standard ones. Oh, so we're going to end up colliding if we're not careful. I'm adjusting like mad. You can probably hear the keys going. You can see a seam on the landscape, but as I say, that lines up perfectly. It's just not quite lit perfectly. Oh dear, we've maybe built up too much speed to control it. Right, I've disconnected the tow, and he's even saying in the message window, "You've let me go, thanks for the lift." But as we're not in space, he will come to a standstill. There's no graphical effects for it or sound effects or anything at the moment. There's no sound effects in the game for that matter. You can see he's got his little tow ray on at the back, but it points in the wrong direction. So let's just try something else. Let's get close, and then we'll use the repeller ray. But like I say, there's no special effect, no sound effects for it or anything. But can you see it's pushing him? That must have a limited range. So that's something else I added. You can see in the top right, I'll show you with the mouse, you can identify any objects. Come on. But you can see it needs an animation for when you take a module back. For the moment, it just moves it really quickly into place on a 5x5 grid. The idea will be once you've got 5x5 full, then you will get another little base controller. Come on, just pushing him. It's actually easier than towing him. Come on, let's get him into that dome of the base. Yeah, and as soon as it's in the base, I mean, you need some kind of restart sequence, you know, graphically. But you saw his little light going at the front. I don't think in normal gameplay, I don't think you'd have 10 submarines, but as I say, it's helping me test it. Let's go after a block ourselves and take it back to the base. The idea will be, I don't think I've seen that mechanism before. I mean, I dare say there will be something somewhere that does something similar. But you actually go out and you get the buildings, you fetch them and bring them back. You see those other submarines are just heading out. Here we go. Let's get a accommodation module. And as I say, there should be about 12 modules, so there'll be things like submarine hangars and submarine repair hangars and things like that. I've created the graphics for a little robo suit thing you can get into, and there should be some of them going around. Oh, it's starting to get light again now because it's time 1. Okay, again, just a little placeholder graphical effect there with the, and these things aren't anywhere near as heavy as a submarine. Oh, they're bumping around. When you watch them, you'd think that they're exhibiting quite complicated behaviours in terms of manoeuvring. Okay, so it's in the dome now, so as soon as I let it go, it'll just go onto that 5x5 grid. That doesn't actually have a 5x5 limit on it yet. But I've only just, as I say, added the infinite terrain. So, or made the terrain infinite, should I say. It's time 1. The brightness seems to fluctuate, but it's just because we're going in and out of the dome. Let's go fetch. See, what I'd like to do is make it so you can get out of the submarine in a suit. See your submarine from the outside and then approach objects and, for example, disarm a mine or, reactivate a submarine. say if you're going all the way back to base, but you see that'll be an add-on you get eventually, you know, a suit, and then there should be suits going around. I don't know if you can quite see it, just round here, this base controller thing, it's actually got like status bars above it, and I'm not decided yet whether they're actually just being projected into the water for you to see, or you know, a hologram, or if they're in the submarine's hood. But I'm going to try something a bit tricky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way up here. The altitude is, there'll have to be a limit to how high you can go. You know, there'll be radiation or something once you go high enough. But that's altitude, so that's 165 metres. Okay, we're being pursued by a mine now. But that's what I was actually going for. I wanted the mine, but I was hoping... Okay, I can't get that. Let's see if I can just outmaneuver it a bit. It's like in Star Wars when he says, "Don't worry, kid, I know some manoeuvres," and then he just carries on going in a straight line. Yeah, it's a good manoeuvre in many circumstances. Here we go. I can't see it, but it must be there. Whoa, I can see it. The hood display. This may be a bit risky, but let's see if we can. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but those lines, they are in the hood, so they're actually in front of any objects in the game world, but it's one of those little details, or I'm trying to avoid adding too many. Okay, here we go. We're in tow mode. Here we go. Right. Whoa, it's swinging me around. It's heavy. It should display the mass. I bet that's really easy to do, display the mass of an object. Whoa, I saw the red line, yeah. But that thing's not very manoeuvrable. So it's just, as it's 168 metres up, it takes a while to get there. We might as well do two things at once, because we're going to bring a mine in, and we'll get some credits for that. The bases are there, but they don't really do much at the moment, because basically I had to add infinite terrain, and I've started adding the game save mechanism, so I've not really been able to add features for a couple of days, but I've got basically 4 more days before my work starts again. So I've got 4 mad days of just adding, you know, making up base modules and adding them to the game, and then maybe some more gameplay. It's starting to get dark again now. You might think that was because of the altitude, and I might add something like that, but it was that's not the case. Whoa. Here we go. I've just got to get it in. I can even let go of it first if I've got enough speed. I'm at speed 2.55, whatever that means. I'm not sure what that translates to. Right, let go. And then as soon as it comes, yeah, that's it, in. Now, again, there's no animation for it or anything, but when this mine, when it comes in, obviously that ring shows you how close you can get to it before you activate it. I think this will work. Yeah, just at the last second. And again, the base sends a message down here. See where I'm pointing with the mouse. But they've built a lot of the base now. So oxygen 8, food 9, accommodation 5. Anyway, I don't know if there's much more to show at the moment. Yeah, you can see the display above it. It projects a display and it always points it towards the player. So there's a transparent display there just showing you oxygen 8, food 9, accommodation 5. I mean, these things could all have little displays above them as well, showing some kind of status for them, but they don't do much at the moment. Now, Well, let's just see. See what I mean about how it's quite atmospheric once it gets dark. But I'm seeing this for the first time today because I've just added it. The night and day cycle. Okay. Let's try and finish this one off. I don't know if one of the submarines tried to drag it in and didn't quite get it close enough. Okay, I'll let go of the tow, and yeah, once it gets itself into the base, I'll tell you something, these little submarines, they have got a light on the front, so they will light things up. But, yeah, I was thinking last night, I was cycling around on my bike and looking at car headlights, and it needs a big white circle on the front, really, to show the lights on. Also, I'll give something away, spoil the illusion. That's not actually lighting up the fogging effect or anything. That light, which doesn't seem bright enough in dark conditions, but that is actually just a transparent yellow cone stuck to the front of the submarine. What's he doing? But let's just get close to him for a second in the dark, and then if I put the tractor beam on, he goes deactivated, so he's deactivated now. So he's just floating around, and you see you can bump into him because it's a physics object. Oh, I don't know what's happening there. Is this guy here? Has he brought this module in? Sometimes the perspective is a bit confusing, but okay. Anyway, so this guy's deactivated because I deactivated him. And like I say, they send messages, you know, chatter. Here we go. Let's take him back. Whoa. He's heavy. You can feel how heavy he is. I bet there's stuff that I've added and I've forgotten about it. But anyway, so that's the basic game. Whoa. Come on, he's taking me round. Yeah, I think I'll disengage the tow. But like I say, I plan to add a little feature where thanks for the lift. Yeah, here he is. And there's some debris around him. Maybe I'll take this module in first. So I'll use the repeller. Whoa, that's not... Whoops. Oh, that'll have the default mass of 1 kilogram. It's quite a large object to weigh 1 kilogram. It's gone flying off somewhere. And you'll be able to see it moving on the map as well. But anyway, this weighs 1,000 kilograms. This weighs 1,000 times as much. Yeah, and can you see it's reactivated now? As soon as you know, the light went on and he's under his own power. Okay. All right. Well, that's what it looks like after a couple of weeks. And then hopefully things are going to be a bit more fun tomorrow, where I'll be able to just start kit bashing some more modules and come up with some ridiculous nonsense about what they do. Ah, you see this guy's stuck under here. I think they need to be higher up. What I've experimented with already is using the physics engine to actually land these things on the ground. And I think they'll look a bit better if they're all just sort of on the... Whoa, now I'm stuck. Yeah, sometimes this happens, there's a little bug. Let's see if I can, because he seems to be running, but I should be able to just go like this. Yeah, for some reason, there's some combination of factors I can't quite put him into tow mode, deactivate his engine. Now, the player will be discouraged from doing this because it'll damage both subs, but let's just give him a shove. Come on, using the physics engine. This is the advantage of using a game engine like Godot. You just get the physics engine thrown in for free. There we go. Anyway, so I think that's where I am now, and I've got about 4 more days to get this thing on its feet. Add more modules and stuff, and some kind of actual base mechanics, so these modules are actually doing something rather than just adding to the numbers. And that's what I've been doing.